In the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu is said to have been appointed prime minister by the emperor, over his own protests. Lao did not want the job at all, and apparently told the emperor, "You're going to regret this." And the emperor was like, "Sure, cool, whatever, do the job or I'll kill you." So Lao took the job. One of his earliest duties in the role was as judge in a case of burglary, because apparently all branches of government converged on one official, and the prime minister was also a judicial arbitrator. So let's go with that. A rich man brought to Lao a thief, and demanded that the thief be punished harshly for robbing him. Lao, who was notoriously grumpy, ordered that both the thief and the victim be punished. The thief harshly for his crime, and the rich man even more harshly for incentivizing the crime in the first place by being rich. Lao was of the opinion that simply being excessively wealthy was a crime in itself, the result of having robbed everyone. He also said the accumulation of wealth was basically just making it easier for other thieves to steal from a central location and creating the incentive to steal it. No, Tankenstein, no, not yet. Now, Lao kind of leaves a big door open to victim blaming, right? Like, that kind of logic is pretty deeply flawed on its face. If you just let people go around redistributing wealth on their own terms based on what they think is fair in the moment, well, you're gonna have chaos, right? Like, people will just rob each other endlessly. It'll be Biggie's "Gimme the Loot" on repeat forever. Except, well, that's kind of what we have right now. That's kind of why the song exists. And that isn't what Lao was talking about. No, Tank, I'll tell you when it's time. Where was I? Let's see here. Right, Biggie. Okay. I gotta say, there's a certain kind of chicken and egg type thing going on here that the song touches on very subtly. If you don't know it, Biggie's classic track, "Gimme the Loot," basically gives a first-person account from a couple of guys, one of whom is just out of prison and on parole, going right back into what appears to be a habit of holding up rich people at gunpoint and taking their valuables. Sounds like a situation where a superhero would at least try to intervene, right? Yeah, in fact, the song ends, unsurprisingly, with police arriving and the two men vowing to go out in the obligatory hail of bullets. Apparently, they don't like the other available options, which include something called central booking. I don't know what that is, but they very explicitly do not want to see it. As much as I'd like to, we can't really talk about these two guys and their crimes without at least lightly breezing past the context surrounding why they are in this position in the first place. I know it's a little out of my lane and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but let's just say that the nation they live in was built on crimes against humanity, some of the most egregious of which basically created and currently maintain a permanently disadvantaged underclass distinguished by visible phenotype. The song explicitly contextualizes the actions of these two men with their ancestral history and the broken promise of reparations. I don't know. Sounds like something Lao Tzu would at least understand, right? Tanky, stop it. I know. Can you just not? Thank you. I promise you'll get your turn. So, okay, why did all that happen? Why did it happen on a continent that was simultaneously playing host to a whole other genocide? Why are some European countries so incredibly wealthy compared to very specific other nations? Why are there museums full of stuff from other countries like China and Egypt and Wakanda? Yes, I know, Wakanda's fictional. Stay focused. Why is there such starkly racialized wealth inequality in colonial nations? Why do circumstances exist that necessitate breaking the law to meet your basic needs? In a word, because of theft. Agree or disagree with Lao if you want, but the wealth of many nations and individuals is built on having stolen it, or, more recently, having inherited it from those who did steal it. Okay, Tank, your turn. Let her rip.
Thank you. To begin with, the best way to deter theft is not with the threat of violence or imprisonment, but with a positive incentive to the contrary. If conditions exist that incentivize theft by rendering survival otherwise impossible, then the people living under those conditions will either perish or steal to survive. The strongest disincentives for theft are comfort and security. As long as theft is both necessary and criminalized, those who perpetuate or enforce the systemic status quo are unequivocally advocates for theft, whether they know it or not. Or, as Thomas More wrote, instead of inflicting these horrible punishments, it would be far more to the point to provide everyone with some means of livelihood, so that nobody is under the frightful necessity of becoming first a thief and then a corpse. The UK, France, Spain, and other wealthy European countries obtained their wealth by colonization, exploitation, and enslavement of racialized others. Other countries, like the United States of America, have carried over this colonial practice under various guises. And today, that exploitation continues within nations and throughout the world by way of a power monopoly shared amongst a vanishingly small class we call billionaires. If you ask me, the simplest solution to the problem of theft, if not a complete solution, at least a better one, is to seize and redistribute the assets of the wealthy and feed their bodies to the workers whose exploitation
Okay,
made them
that
wealthy.
is... Wow. Man, I don't know what I expected. Thanks, I guess. I'll put a link in the description or whatever. Good thing this channel's not monetized. So anyway, leaving aside that last part, this is more or less why I don't waste time chastising shoplifters. I'm not here to protect a powerful retail giant or to help maintain an unsustainable status quo. We have police for that. I'm just here for the question. So, is it a crime to steal? Absolutely. But I don't want to jump to conclusions. What looks like theft at a glance might really just be a response to theft, might only be a step towards reclamation or the beginning of restitution. And if you ask me, that is not a crime. If you are able and inclined to mitigate the effects of poverty, for me personally, you can join the small army of wonderful people who regularly give me money through Patreon. Or you can do a one-time donation to my Ko-fi. Links are in the usual place. Additionally, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Technically, I also have a Facebook page, but it's pointless and I don't look at it. Join me again next time for an off-the-wall romp through the wild and crazy world of... Until then, this is the Silver Samaritan saying good luck and stay